Good evening, this is Bola. I just wanted to stop in and give my thoughts about how relationships affect emotions. I feel they both affect one another. And I'm looking at the fact that as infants, it was newborn while we're in the mother's womb, scientists have said that babies begin to feel, and a lot of times they feel what the mother is feeling. And then the minute we're born into the world, we start developing relationships, being attached to relationships and things like that. So so those two things begin to shape our path on how we will see and view relationships throughout our lives, as even as adults. And what happens is many of us have been scarred one way or another, have some type of negative emotions associated with our childhood, and we haven't been taught to deal with that. So what we do is our emotions are basically out of control, and as we get into adulthood or get older and start understanding what relationships are, what we tend to do is we now begin to have choices of whether or not to stay in a relationship or distance or divorce ourselves from that person. And we divorce or distance ourselves from that person, but we hold on to the emotion. Now, we haven't been taught that we are the owner of our our emotions, and it is up to us to divorce ourselves from those emotions, just like we stop dealing with that person. But what many of us do is we find somebody else that we are expecting to change that emotion we negative emotion we've had from the past, and that person cannot do it. So that is then what we tend to do is we now develop negative feelings or emotions towards that person because they can't help us change that negative emotion. When we are the owner of our emotions and we have the authority to tell that emotion, they no longer have a place in our lives. So that's my thought, that that they both impact one another greatly. And I just thought I'd stop by and thank you.